So the question is about this, the opportunities of creating adaptations for classic literature. And it's a big space. I mean, well, it's definitely a market. The educational market is huge and has been somewhat receptive to these books, and there are a lot of people who have jumped into that niche to the point where the competition is getting a little fierce. The educators that I've talked to, of course, these are self-selected educators who go to these shows, like who go to the National Council of Teachers of English annual convention, for example. They're very sensitive to the quality of those books, and for that reason my books have done quite well despite the amount of competition in that niche, because they recognize that my books are more faithful, they're better produced than, for example, there's the manga Shakespeare, is one of my competitors. There's a whole line of Shakespeare done in manga style, but it's not even done by it's not imported from Japan. These are like American manga imitators for the most part. And they're done reasonably well, but they still look like these kind of cheap black and white books that are they're not even quite manga, and most teachers are still somewhat resistant to even a really good manga. So they look at that and they compare it to my book, and they're always going to go for my book. But if you're somewhere kind of in the middle, where there's a bunch of companies who are doing this, who have a much more standard kind of, they look like superhero books, they look like Marvel or something. In fact, Marvel themselves are doing a whole line, and those books I think sell reasonably well in comic stores, but they have a lot of competition in the bookstore space. So the answer is there's a lot of people doing it. You may be able to find a job working on one of these books, or do one of these books yourself and find a market for it. But the market is getting saturated already a little bit.